You know, we are a product of tourism. We've always had sun, sand, and sea. And that gave us a competitive advantage in the 20th century. Now in the 21st century, where you're seeing a global marketplace evolve, and many countries having sun, sand, and sea, some at cheaper prices, some with easier access, we have to gain another competitive advantage. And so for us, we thought our first competitive advantage was to add another S. And the S we thought to add was sports. So we added sports. And how do you put sports into a scenario where you become a player? Not on the field, but in the business of sports. And so we decided to launch our country into the business of sports. We've gone out and pushed for 15 major international events. These are mega events. So you saw us, we hosted, of course, Carifta. We've done the Susan G. Coleman Walk for the Cure and Marathon Bahamas, LPGA Pure Silk. We have that on the board for the next 5 years. We invited the Tiger Woods Foundation down. He's a resident here at Albany, and so we have now the Tiger Woods World Hero Golf Challenge. We know we've gone ahead and we've put on the Chris Brown invitation. I know you were a participant in that yesterday. You weren't on the track, but you were everywhere else, and so we know you enjoyed that. We have this summer, the 60th anniversary of the Caribbean Amateur Golf Championships. We have the NCAA Battle for Atlantis. We have the ESPN Bowl game. So the Bahamas is now the only country outside the continental United States that has NCAA certification, meaning the college games played in the Bahamas count on the calendar. That has been a big thing. We're bringing rugby sevens. We're looking at a Champs series, not just for track and field. We're doing Champs soccer, Champs baseball, Champs golf, Champs basketball. And so you'll see about 7 core sports that will have championships in and around the Bahamas. We then move to our Olympic trials. The Carifta season is up. We're hosting Carifta Swim next year and Carifta Track and Field the year after. We hope to really host the Carifta multi-sport games, which I think Austin Seeley in his first iteration wanted that to become the Junior Olympics of the Caribbean, which will give us a huge platform. Why is that important? We're going to the Bahama Games, which brings all our islands together, and then we're going to see next year for the first time ever in the history of this region, the Commonwealth Youth Games, meaning all 71 countries of the Commonwealth coming together in Nassau, the Bahamas, to display a tremendous opportunity, not just about sports, but about youth development. So we're using sports as a plank of our national development programming. It's very important for us to do this in this manner. We move on to early next year, we go right back at it with the Marathon Bahamas, PGA, Pure Silk Invitational. We're looking at FIFA World Cup of beach soccer. We have Junkanoo Bahamas, Junkanoo Carnival Bahamas coming, which is a huge thrust for us again. As I mentioned, the FIFA World Cup of beach soccer, IAAF World Relays 3rd edition. We hosted 1 and 2 already, which is resounding success. Everybody loved it. By the way, I mentioned before we started that that's the fastest track on the planet, and that track has seen 5 world records in 2 years. 5 world records in 2 years. Not that it's a fast track. The format we use, you have people with fresh legs. So normally at the end of an Olympic series and the World Championships, you'll see people running the 4s and the 1s, but don't forget, they've run 8 rounds of 4s and 8 rounds of 1s before they got to the relays. So all you saw here was relays. And so there were fresh legs in the relays, and you saw what that competition yielded. We're also talking with Major League Baseball. We're building a baseball stadium. We know what's happening in Cuba. We think that's a great interest for us to have a Caribbean League of champions. And then we tap off, we're talking with the NFL and the NBA about getting preseason games in this region, because these are where the fans are. When you look in the leagues, there are more Caribbeans now being drafted into those leagues than any other place in the world. So we know the history of the Caribbean has a tremendous athletic prowess. And the sports history of the Caribbean is by far, the greatest ever in the history of this world. You check it out. The sports history of the Caribbean is the greatest ever in the history of the world. You check it out, I guarantee you this is a wonderful story that we should be telling, that we should own, and we should pass on to the next generation.